A ban on Glock pistols. Yup. California just declared war on gun owners with AB 1127. Let's expose it. Guys, California is at it again, but this time it's worse than ever. A brand new bill, AB 1127, could pave the way for massive government overreach into your Second Amendment rights. Not just in California, but setting a dangerous blueprint for the rest of the country. If you think your guns are safe, particularly Glocks, then think again. Stay tuned because what you're about to hear will fire you up. Before I dive into it, this is a critical update, so stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button. Join the fight to protect our freedoms here on Guns and Gadgets. I cover the Second Amendment news the mainstream media won't tell you about, and I do it every single day. A huge shout out to today's sponsor, Attorneys on Retainer, the legal defense membership you need in today's world. You don't get to choose when you have to act in self-defense. I joined Attorneys on Retainer because I trust Mark Victor and his team at the Attorneys for Freedom law firm to fight for me if I'm ever in a self-defense incident. But don't just listen to me. Listen to what this Attorney on Retainer member had to say.
What happened on the night of your incident?
We were at a barbecue and it was getting crazy. When he started running at me, reached for the back of his pants, I just pulled out my firearm. Once the target was down so that he's not a threat anymore, I just called you guys.
The majority of programs immediately exclude you if you happen to be in a gun-free zone at the time that the incident occurs.
The strike force was called. If that doesn't happen in this case, he's still sitting at Rikers Island today.
Lawyers are like real-life superheroes because you can give people a chance to really get a second chance in life.
AOR is the only law firm in the nation exclusively committed to self-defense cases. With Attorneys on Retainer, you have an attorney on the line when you call AOR's emergency hotline 24/7. If you ever get into a self-defense incident, AOR will have your back. Plus, if you join now, or if you're already a member, you can lock in your price until 2030. Why is that big? Because they've added a bunch of new benefits like red flag and civil liability coverage. And that costs money and the prices will be going up. If you're already a member, you should have received an email with a code to upgrade and unlock the new expanded benefits at no cost. Be sure to join or upgrade before December 31st of 2025 and lock in your pricing until January 1st of 2030. I'll help you save money right off the bat. You can get $50 off your individual plan or $25 off your family plan sign-up fees by using my code GNG at the link below. Get into it today and protect yourself while you're protecting others. All right, let's get into this. What is AB 1127 exactly? Well, it would ban every single Glock pistol and any other pistol for that matter that can or could accept a switch that can convert said semi-automatic pistol into a full automatic firearm. It bans the possession of any firearm that is currently classified as a so-called assault weapon, even if you legally bought it, registered it, and followed every insane rule that California already throws at you. Now let me be crystal clear. This bill doesn't just block future sales, it retroactively criminalizes law-abiding gun owners who complied with the law years ago. If you own it, you're a felon, period. Now here's the dirty details. AB 1127 would make it a misdemeanor or a felony, depending on circumstances, simply to possess a legally owned Glock or any other firearm that accepts a switch that has been reclassified. It provides no meaningful compensation to gun owners forced to surrender their firearms. It creates a massive government buyback program, but again, the gun owner would have no real choice but to comply or face prosecution, or become ungovernable, which is what I suggest. It also allows police to seize these firearms without a warrant under certain conditions if they believe you're in unlawful possession. And I'm going to reiterate here, no gun control, no unconstitutional gun control is ever enforced if cops follow the Constitution and simply don't enforce unconstitutional laws. You don't have to take the order, boys and girls. Translation: they want to turn millions of peaceful gun owners into criminals overnight just because the political winds changed. Now, the bill is being fast-tracked through the legislature as well. It passed the California Judiciary Committee on April 8th by a vote of 7-1 with one absentee, and it passed the Appropriations Committee on April 22nd by a vote of 9-2 with one absentee. More on that in a moment. Stay tuned. Now let's talk about why this is a ticking constitutional time bomb. First off, retroactive criminalization? That violates the basic principle of due process under the 5th and the 14th Amendments. Second, it's a blatant infringement on the Second Amendment, as affirmed in the Bruin decision. Government can't just ban what they don't like without proving it fits within the historical tradition of gun regulations. And guess what? It doesn't. Third, AB 1127 is a takings violation under the 5th Amendment. If the state takes your property, which these firearms are, they owe you just compensation. And that pathetic buyback scheme isn't cutting it. As for the votes I mentioned earlier, only 2 people testified against this bill. 2! More than 39.5 million people live in California, and only 2 people cared enough about the Second Amendment to take time away from their precious lives to stand up to their oppressors. 2! My friends Sam Paredes of Gun Owners of California and Adam Wilson of Gun Owners of America. Here's what Sam had to say.
Mr. Chairman and members, Sam Paredes representing Gun Owners of California and the California Rifle and Pistol Association. We heard this bill, and this bill was heard in the Assembly Public Safety Committee, and I want to point out a couple of things that were said today in the testimony. First of all, these things are already illegal. It is illegal to convert any firearm into full auto. It is illegal to possess, under federal law, felony. So criminals are somehow able to acquire these things, but law-abiding citizens are not. Now, mind you, this is pre-crime. You're making something that is already illegaler, on the hope that you're going to somehow make criminals comply with the law. Nothing can be further from the truth. Also, this is the Judiciary Committee. It is very important that you understand that under the Heller versus Washington, D.C., the Supreme Court said that anything that is in common use for lawful purposes cannot be banned. It is unconstitutional. That's what they said for the federal government. Then, 2 years later, in McDonald versus Chicago, the court came back and said, that is so important, we're going to apply it to the states. Then Caetano said 200,000 stun guns was common use. We have millions of Glocks. And then the Bruin decision came and said that when the Second Amendment is implicated, that it is the burden of the government to prove that the law they are considering has some source of reference with the text, the history, and tradition of gun laws in America. This law does not. And the one big concern we have is the exemption of DOJ from the Administrative Protection Act, Procedures Act, which means they can do whatever they want, any way they want, and why they want. And finally, I will close with this, and I appreciate the indulgence of the extra time, Mr. Chairman. This will go to court, and we will win. We are winning on this issue in other courts in the country. Ultimately, it is going to be the taxpayers of the state of California that are going to have to pay our attorneys when we ultimately win this issue in courts. That's a fact. That's a fact. Thank you.
Thank
For
you.
these reasons, we oppose this
I appreciate it. There was just one witness. I gave a little more time there. Is there anyone else here in opposition to AB 1127?
Adam Wilson for Gun Owners of America in opposition.
Thank you.
Now that you heard what Sam had to say, here's what some of these unconstitutional clowns said as well.
My name is Crystal Lopalato, and I serve as Everytown for Gun Safety's Director of Policy Advocacy for the Western and Southern regions. As most of you likely know or would assume, fully automatic machine guns have been heavily restricted under federal and state law for decades. Those pistol converter devices themselves are already illegal.
In response to the opposition here, no, we will win. You may win in court, but mothers love their children more than you love your guns, and we will win this fight. Mark my words.
Unfrigging believable. Now, maybe you're watching from Texas, Florida, Ohio, or hell, even here in Tennessee, wherever, and you're thinking, well, that's California. They're crazy anyway. That'll never happen here. Wrong. What starts in California doesn't stay in California. These gun control schemes are exported nationwide. This is a trial balloon, and if they get their way there, they'll try it everywhere. The anti-2A crowd has one goal: total civilian disarmament. And they're playing the long game. Pass one law here, set a court precedent there, and before you know it, our grandchildren will read about gun ownership in the history books. Unless patriots become patriots. Guys, we cannot sit on the sidelines. AB 1127 must be opposed, not just in California, and not just by GOA and GOC, but by patriots all across America who recognize what is at stake. Flood the phones of your representatives. Support the lawsuits that are sure to be challenging this garbage. Stand with pro-2A groups fighting this tyranny. And most importantly, stay informed, stay prepared, stay free, and stay ready. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you learned something and you think more gun owners should see it, and share it with your friends. We're stronger together. Stay armed, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody.